The ratings are in for the special Thursday edition of AEW Collision on TBS. The Wyatt Six make their return to WWE television on SmackDown last night. LA Knight qualifies for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. R-Truth has his final comments ahead of facing John Cena tonight at Saturday night's main event. Candace Laorray reunites with DIY. Julia qualifies for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Tiffany Stratton has some choice words for Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Several matches and segments are confirmed for next week's edition of SmackDown on USA Network. A Women's United States Championship match is confirmed for Saturday night's main event tonight. The first match for the AAA and WWE Worlds Collide event is confirmed. Raj Singh makes his return to TNA at Under Siege. The Knockouts tag team titles are retained. Eddie Edwards defeats Cody Deaner, meaning that Deaner will not receive a new TNA wrestling contract. WWE reportedly are thrilled with Natalya after her recent appearances in GCW and the NWA. Scorpio Sky says he's unsure why he's been benched by All Elite Wrestling, and an update on Eddie Kingston's AEW status ahead of Double or Nothing tomorrow night. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we begin, you can see right there, we're currently at 21,868 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and join the ever-expanding WNU, that being the Wrestling News universe. In addition, you can become a member of the WN365 roster. All you have to do is click the link in the video description below, or click the join button, or scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. Speaking of that sidebar, you can see when we'll be live here on the channel next, including tonight for WWE Saturday night's main event for a watch-along and a live post-show straight after, as well as tomorrow night for AEW Double or Nothing. We're going to be doing a live watch-along and a live post-show for that too. Now, beginning with AEW, we have the viewership information for a special Thursday episode of AEW Collision on a different network as well, that being TBS. Now, Thursday's episode of AEW Collision airing on TBS instead of TNT and moving nights to avoid going head-to-head with WWE Saturday night's main event averaged 353,000 viewers. Now, that is down 11.3% from last week's Saturday airing and down 7.6% from May 8th, the last time it aired on a Thursday. Now, in terms of the quarter-hour ratings, these come courtesy of WrestleNomics. Shout out to them, and be sure to subscribe to their Patreon service. You can see the trend in the quarter-hour ratings there. Collision finished 12th on the cable charts with a 0.08 rating in the 18 to 49 demo. That's the same rating the show did last Saturday and down 11.1% from the previous Thursday airing of the show 2 weeks ago. The show went head-to-head with the NBA playoffs on ESPN and the Stanley Cup playoffs on TNT, with those games and programming related to them dominating the top of the charts. As compared to the same week in 2024, when the show aired on its regular nights, the overall viewership is down 14.9%, while the 18 to 49 rating was down 46.7%. This year's numbers, of course, do not include viewership on the Max streaming service. Now, going over to SmackDown last night, we saw the return of the Wyatt Six to WWE television for the first time in quite some time. The Wyatt Six indeed are back. The Wyatt Six, of course, consisting of Uncle Howdy, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, and Nikki Cross, made their return on the May 23rd episode of WWE SmackDown, interrupting the main event WWE Tag Team Championship match between the Street Profits and Fraxium to cause a no contest. As Ford went to the top rope to deliver the frog splash, the lights went out and the Wyatt Six were in the ring when the lights came back up. The group laid out not only Fraxium, the Street Profits, but they also went over DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, all of whom got involved in the tag team main event. Howdy, Bo Dallas, delivered a Sister Abigail to Gargano, and then, as the lights went down again, he blew out a candle on a birthday cake, as May 23rd was Bray Wyatt's birthday. Of course, this was the first Wyatt Six appearance on WWE television since December of last year. Now, LA Knight, he is the latest name to qualify for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. LA Knight defeated Aleister Black and Shinsuke Nakamura on the May 23rd episode of SmackDown to qualify for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match at the upcoming Premium Live event. The finish saw Black hit Black Mass on Nakamura, putting him down. Knight then dumped Black outside and pinned Nakamura for the victory. Knight joined Solo Sikoa in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match at the upcoming Money in the Bank PLE on June 7th. Now, R-Truth, he'll be facing his childhood hero tonight at Saturday night's main event in John Cena, and last night he delivered his final message to the current WWE champion. R-Truth spoke on the May 23rd episode of WWE SmackDown ahead of his Saturday night's main event showdown with John Cena. Truth said he might be fighting his childhood hero, but he doesn't recognize the man who Cena has become. He believes power and ego has corrupted Cena, and now he's walking around like Gollum, calling him with the undisputed WWE title acting as his precious. Truth said that he will save wrestling and beat the hustle, loyalty, and respect back into Cena. Truth closed by stating, "I miss my hero, I can't deny it. So Saturday, we say it again, if Cena wins, we riot." Of course, as I mentioned, this will be taking place tonight at Saturday night's main event. We'll have a watch-along and a live post-show here on the channel. Now, Candace Laorray, she has reunited with DIY. Tommaso Ciampa competed against Chris Sabin in singles competition on the May 23rd episode of SmackDown. At the end of the match, Ciampa faked a knee injury to get the referee's attention. As the referee was attending to Ciampa, Candace Laorray grabbed Sabin's hair from the apron and pulled his head down, snapping his throat on the top rope. Ciampa followed up with a running knee strike for the victory. Laorray posed with her husband Gargano and Ciampa after the bout. Of course, Laorray was most recently aligned with Nia Jax on SmackDown, but now seemingly she's aligned with DIY. Julia, she's qualified for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Julia won her triple threat qualifying match on the May 23rd episode of SmackDown, defeating Women's United States champions Zelina Vega and Charlotte Flair. The finish saw Julia hit a top rope stomp onto the knee of Charlotte, who had Zelina in the figure 8. Julia followed up with a Northern Lights bomb to Zelina to score the victory. With this victory, Julia joins Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, and Rhea Ripley in the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match at the upcoming PLE. Now let's continue by talking about the aforementioned Charlotte Flair, who was greeted with some choice words by Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown. WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton opened the May 23rd episode of SmackDown, warning that whoever won the Women's Money in the Bank briefcase does not cash in on her. Alexa Bliss, who has qualified for Money in the Bank, interrupted Stratton and introduced herself before running down her resume. Alexa warned Stratton that if she thought her rise was quick, just wait for the downfall. Charlotte Flair then came out saying she plans on winning the briefcase and cashing in because what she wants, she takes. Stratton called Charlotte a hypocrite because she criticized her for winning the title via a cash-in. She closed by saying that Alexa and Charlotte were a little too vintage and they were the standard, but she is the upgrade. Of course, it was Stratton who defeated Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania to retain the Women's Championship. Now, several matches and segments are confirmed for SmackDown next week. Now, WWE has announced that Bianca Belair will make her return to live television on the May 30th episode of WWE SmackDown. Plus, undisputed WWE Champion John Cena is set to appear. In the ring, Nia Jax, Naomi, and Jade Cargill will settle their differences in a triple threat match next Friday on SmackDown. The winner will qualify for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match at the upcoming Money in the Bank PLE. Finally, United States Champion Jacob Fatu, Andrade, and Carmelo Hayes will battle in a men's Money in the Bank qualifying match. Now, Saturday night's main event, of course, is tonight on NBC and Peacock, and there will be more title matches on the show. WWE has announced that Zelina Vega will defend her WWE Women's United States Championship against former champion Chelsea Green at tonight's edition of WWE Saturday Night's main event. Now, Vega won the championship from Green on the April 25th episode of WWE SmackDown. The first match for the AAA and WWE Worlds Collide events has now been confirmed. WWE announced that Legado del Fantasma, that being Santos Escobar, Berto, and Angel, will take on Psycho Clown, Pagano, and El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. at WWE and AAA Worlds Collide on June 7th. In a video that aired on the May 23rd episode of WWE SmackDown, Escobar told Berto and Angel that they will come together and show the world why they are the best. Escobar says this will be a unique opportunity to stand together victorious in front of their people. Angel was on board, but Berto was not completely sold on the idea. Now, speaking of WWE and AAA, WWE's foray into Mexico is indeed progressing. Fightful Select say they've been asking around about the relationship with WWE and AAA Lucha Libre and how things have been involved so far. Now, so far, many of the talent in AAA are still unsure of their status moving forward, especially those who don't have full-on contracts with AAA. WWE has been sending agents to the AAA tapings of late to get a feel of how things are run to report back. Jeremy Borash, reportedly, according to Fightful, has been heavily involved and has spoken with a number of talent there. At least one name in AAA claimed that a couple of top people in AAA have already felt some tide shift and have been knocked down a few pegs of power. One source Fightful spoke to said it's hard to believe that it's an accident or coincidence that El Hijo del Vikingo versus Alberto Del Rio / Alberto El Patron titles match was booked the week before the Worlds Collide show. Quote, even if they keep Del Rio in the company, that bout is almost surely coming off him, another source said. Now, Fightful have not heard that Del Rio is set for Worlds Collide as of right now, but El Hijo del Vikingo is planned as a huge part of the partnership moving forward. Obviously, that was obvious when it comes to the announcement over WrestleMania weekend. Of course, he was featured on television at WrestleMania 41 too. Another note was that even though it was a formality and rarely happened, AEW talent will not appear in AAA moving forward. Jeff Jarrett showed up in AAA, of course, a number of months ago. The reports of PW Insider regarding TNA sending talent to AAA for Worlds Collide is indeed accurate, according to Fightful. The general idea that Fightful heard was that it would feature WWE, NXT, AAA, and TNA talent as their own Forbidden Door style show. Now let's go over to TNA Wrestling and talk about Under Siege on Friday. There was a post-match skirmish with the winning team. An 8-person tag team match was on the bill for TNA Under Siege that saw Order 4, that being Mustafa Ali, Tasha Steelz, John Skyler, and Jason Hotch, face the Rascals, Indy Hartwell, and a mystery partner. Now, of course, originally, Ace Austin was billed as their partner, but prior to the May 22nd TNA Impact, it was revealed by Scott D'Amore in his column on Uncrowned that Austin's contract with TNA had expired. That was confirmed by PW Insider. TNA would then say that Austin is sidelined with a leg injury following it being targeted by Mustafa Ali in their singles match. Filling in for Austin was Raj Singh. It was his first match for TNA since the summer of 2024. He suffered the loss in the match when Ali got the pinfall victory over him. Post-match, Ali began to choke Singh. Tasha Steelz tried to pull him off, but Ali shoved her to the mat. Continuing with Under Siege, let's talk about the Knockouts Tag Team Championships at the show last night. Maggie Lee assisted Heather by Elegance and Ash by Elegance. The first championship match of the night at TNA Under Siege was a match by Elegance for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. Spitfire challenged Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance for their titles. The stipulation was that if Spitfire lost, they would have to split. The match by Elegance was a no DQ bout, and as the match was ongoing, Maggie Lee entered the fray and helped the champions retain their titles. Spitfire teamed in TNA for a year. They are 2 times Knockouts World Tag Team Champions. It was heartbreak for Cody Deaner last night at Under Siege because Deaner's TNA run seemingly is over. The second match of the night at TNA Under Siege saw Eddie Edwards take on Cody Deaner. Deaner's TNA contract expired at the beginning of May, and the opportunity to potentially secure a new deal was presented to him via a match against Edwards. If he won, Director of Authority Santina Morella would talk to the board of directors about offering Deaner a new deal. Come time for Under Siege, Alicia Edwards hit Deaner with a low blow while the referee was not looking. Eddie followed up with a Boston knee party to pick up the victory. Deaner's TNA career is now over, and post-match, the System came out to verbally berate Deaner. Making the save was the Northern Armory to set up a 6-man tag between the two sides. Going back to WWE and talking about Natalya, of course, she's been doing appearances outside of WWE recently. Natalya has enjoyed somewhat of a career renaissance in recent months through her appearances outside of World Wrestling Entertainment, with the former SmackDown Women's Champion rechristening herself as the low-key legend Natty Neidhart and making her way to the ring to Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name. Stops outside of WWE have seen Natalya compete at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport over WrestleMania 41 weekend and unsuccessfully challenged Kenzie Page for the NWA World Women's Championship at the Crockett Cup on May 17th. Neidhart then returned to WWE TV on the May 19th edition of Monday Night Raw in a Money in the Bank triple threat qualifier that was ultimately won by Roxanne Perez following interference from Lyra Valkyria. WrestleVotes has reported on WrestleVotes Radio that WWE have been thrilled with the recent performances of Natalya, and they believe her match in the Crockett Cup, quote, stole the show, end quote. There was also, quote, significant high praise, end quote, for Natalya following the Raw triple threat, with the match being well received backstage. Whether Natalya's recent appearances lead to a push on WWE programming remains to be seen. Natalya will be a part of WWE for some time, though, having put pen to paper on a contract extension in the summer of 2024. Scorpio Sky, we haven't seen him in the longest time in AEW. It's been a long time since Scorpio Sky has competed in All Elite Wrestling, with it looking like the former SCU member has been, quote, benched by the organization. Part of AEW since its inception, Sky is a former AEW World Tag Team Champion and TNT Champion, but has not competed in an AEW or Ring of Honor ring since October of 2023. He hasn't appeared on AEW television in any capacity since August of last year. Pondering on his lack of ring time for AEW, Scorpio said the following on his Creating Character podcast when asked if comments made during an interview with Chris Van Vliet in 2024 could have harmed his standing in the company. Quote, "To be honest with you, I didn't lie when I was on the show, but I definitely went out of my way to not make the company look bad. I really obviously wanted to preserve a relationship that has been built over a number of years, and I didn't want to say anything that would poison that relationship. Come to find out, someone there still maybe has a few issues with some of the things I may have said. Now I'm like, screw it, I'm going to say whatever the hell I want now," said Scorpio. Sky continued by saying, quotes, "It's something that has been on my mind. I don't think about it too much, but sometimes I do wonder, what is the perspective? Do people think I'm not profiled because I suck? I don't have it anymore? I'm hurt? Do they think there's bad blood? The reality is, I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's bad blood or not. I know I'm healthy, and I've been healthy for a long time, and I've been wanting to compete. It's just one of those things where, what can you do? You only have so much say. You have this much," holds the fingers to say, and says you can do what you can. Now, vignettes for Sky's return aired across AEW television in the summer of 2024, but no permanent return came to fruition. Since then, the Man of the Year has wrestled across the US independent scene, whilst former tag team partner Frankie Kazarian has publicly bemoaned Sky's lack of opportunity to prove what he can do. And finally, with AEW Double or Nothing tomorrow, many fans are wondering, will Eddie Kingston return to AEW television at the pay-per-view? Eddie Kingston, of course, has been out of action for a year, but could the former AEW Triple Crown champion be nearing a return? According to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the last word he received on when Kingston could return to action was May 2025, and unless there has been a delay, Kingston should be returning to All Elite Wrestling soon. Meltzer noted, however, they have not been told if Kingston will be returning at Sunday's Double or Nothing pay-per-view, but AEW would be trying to keep Kingston's return quiet regardless. Eddie Kingston himself has looked to quash speculation he will be returning at Double or Nothing, telling PW Insider, quote, "I am not there. I have started running in the ring. I am still doing physical therapy, and I am mentally better. Yet again, as people know, it's a struggle, but being able to be in the ring again and work out with PT and work out with Caesar is helping my mental health, let alone my body. I can finally feel the ball is moving in the right direction," end quote. Speculation has been rife about Kingston returning during the Anarchy in the Arena match at Double or Nothing, especially since the introduction of Gabe Kidd into the program. The New Japan Pro Wrestling star has not been made an official participant in the match, but he has interfered on AEW television on the side of the Death Riders, and speculation has suggested he will be involved in some capacity at Anarchy in the Arena. Now, Eddie Kingston has been out of action since May 11, 2024, when he suffered a fractured tibia, torn ACL, and torn meniscus during his no-rope last man standing match against the aforementioned Gabe Kidd after Kidd suplexed Kingston onto the guardrail. Kingston has since suffered from stomach issues, which he noted had been caused by stress. Kingston has been spending his time out of action watching classic ECW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and All Japan Pro Wrestling. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As you can see right there, we're currently at 21,868 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, join the ever-expanding Wrestle News universe. In addition, you can become a member of the WN365 roster. Links in the video description below. You can also click the join button or scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. Speaking of that sidebar, you can also see all upcoming watch-alongs and post-shows we've got here on the channel, including tonight's for Saturday night's main event and tomorrow for AEW Double or Nothing. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and see you again very soon.